and she's also Western trained in nutrition. And she has come up with a nutritional plan which actually eliminates most, not all, but most of the signs, symptoms, and the underlying problems with autism in children who have highly disturbed gastrointestinal problems. And she is a miracle worker when it comes to nutrition. And so she knows brain, gut, syndrome stuff really, really well, and she will be speaking at the conference this next weekend.
What was her name again?
Dr. McBride, Campbell McBride, Natasha Campbell McBride. And she's written a couple books called Gut and Psychology Syndrome, and she's awesome. Yes?
We've got copies for
Great.
everybody.
If you have an autistic child, and every 150 kids now being born or so have autistic spectrum presentation, it's terrible. And the fecal samples taken from these children show this disastrous dysbiosis of maldigestion and all kinds of problems with inflammation, infection, as well as food allergy and the psychological stuff that goes on. And she has been able to address, not all cases, but most cases, and improve their well-being tremendously. She's a real miracle worker. She'll be there. And there'll be lots of other people there as well. So it's pretty progressive thing to go see. You'll hear a lot of what I've said tonight and so on and so forth. We have shirts for sale tonight for 20 bucks a piece. Anybody wants one? We've got hats too. My wife's the treasurer on that whole thing. Kombucha. I brought tonight a bunch of milk that I'd love to have you guys take and share and take home for free. We've got 25 half gallons over here. I've got some kombucha to give out as well. We at Organic Pastures Dairy and McAfee Farms make nothing but living whole food products. And this is one of them. It's fun to drink. It is a totally probiotic Tibetan fermented drink tea. And it's raw kombucha. And there's no dairy product in it. It's basically a tea that's been fermented with the kombucha culture for about 3 weeks. And the cane sugar has been reduced to fairly low levels, and it's got tons of probiotic lactobacillus bacteria, as well as other minerals and vitamin B and all kinds of stuff in there. And it's great for people that suffer from candida. It's also great for recovering alcoholics because it cleanses your liver. It's awesome stuff. It gives you a big boost because it's got vitamin B in it. So that's a fun drink.
It's the sweetest kombucha that I've ever tasted it.
And you can decrease the sweetness by letting it just sit out for a while because the bacteria continue to grow and make it more effervescent. So you can get down to a really low sugar level just by letting it sit around for 3 weeks and not doing anything with it. We have raw almonds,
Caffeine.
a little bit,
A little bit of caffeine.
because it's naturally occurring in the tea, but not very much. We have raw almonds, another disaster for Whole Foods in California. Anybody heard about pasteurization of almonds in California? When you go down to Whole Foods and it says raw almond, it actually is not raw unless it's imported from Europe. If it's imported from Europe, odds are it's probably raw. But if it's made in California, you can call it raw and it's been pasteurized. Isn't that a fraud? Total fraud. And the FDA approved that. USDA and FDA approved that. I consider that corrupt fraud, mislabeling and misleading labels. Cornucopia Institute is actually suing the USDA to overturn that because of the misrepresentation that occurred. The nutritional studies that proved the pasteurization did not affect the enzymes on these almonds were never completed. They said they were done, and they are not even available. When we subpoena them, they don't exist. Dr. Linda Harris was part of the organization at University of Davis to do the enzymatic issues and the amino acid studies on almonds for the California Almond Board to, quote, prove that pasteurization didn't affect them, have not completed the studies. They are not available, although the law is passed that all almonds in California are pasteurized, including organic almonds. So we have truly raw almonds that have not been pasteurized, and we sell them to buyers clubs and others at 100 pounds per sale from our farm store, and that's how we get around the law. On a retail shelf, you won't be able to buy them unless they're imported from Europe. They're not required to be pasteurized, which shows the depth of the corruption. It wasn't about food safety. It was about market dominance and the fact that if you owned a pasteurizer, you're going to make 7 to 10 cents a pound for pasteurizing somebody else's almond. Yes?
I go to the farmer's market, and the guy that I got mine from, he said they're not pasteurized.
Good.
Because what he told me, if he sells them to like Whole Foods, he has to pasteurize
Correct.
them. But if he sells them just directly to me,
He's
at the
correct.
farmer's market.
You're exactly right. And that's exactly what you're going to find. This is what we sell. There's a few farmers out there that have them, and you will get them on a farmer's market. That's where we find them.
Okay.
But these are 1 pound little bags here, and these are Butte Padre, which are a little smaller, but they're a little sweeter, a hard shell variety of almond. And these are legally to be sold, but you have to sell them directly to the consumer, 100 pounds per day less, which is really interesting. It has nothing to do with food safety. It has to do with market control.
Okay.
Again, pasteurization, which is very interesting.
Is there going to be less food allergies with those almonds then too because of the not being pasteurized? Because I didn't even know they were pasteurized in the store.
Well, I can't speak to food allergy because food allergy actually comes from a different origin.
Okay, so
It's a
it has
physiological
nothing to do-
response. if you eat nothing but pasteurized everything, you're going to lead yourself to a place where you're going to have much more allergies to everything because you're not allowing yourself to come in contact with antigens, which you'll build immunity to, and so on and so forth. Everything's dead. Your gut needs living food. So I can't really speak to the allergy issue, but it's part of a diet of whole foods. And the rest of our products, we have cream, butter, milk, cheese, all of them truly raw, nothing ever above 100 degrees, all alive, living foods. Yes, ma'am?
If you cook with some of your raw foods, for instance, like saute something in the raw
Yeah.
butter, or put raw cream
Awesome.
in soup, or
Great.
make a grilled cheese sandwich, does it destroy the probiotics by heating it that
Yes, but don't worry about it because
Okay,
you'll get your value from your drink of raw milk.
way? Okay.
So yeah, you make the most incredible omelets and eggs with raw butter. I mean, it's fantastic. The raw fats are fairly stable. Saturated fats are fairly stable and don't change much. Yes, the enzymes will go away. Yes, the bacteria go away. But you know what? You're going to get that in your cup of raw milk. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
It all goes to the same compost pile, and it's all delicious mixed together. It all works together. It's all working to try to digest and be assimilated and hydrolyzed in your body. What else? Any other thoughts, concerns, or subject matters before we show a little video here? Yes?
Do you do bricks measurements of your?
We used to on our almonds, our apples. We don't. Brix is a measure of sugar and a measure of maturity in terms of fruit, mostly in fruit, but I guess you can do in other things too. Our sugar level in milk is not measured. Lactose is not measured. But we used to do it on our apples, and we used to produce organic apples, but we don't anymore. You want to talk about Brix? It's an important thing. Brix, the higher your Brix level, the more mature your fruit is, the more enzymatically, ready to digest it is. And there's kind of an optimal Brix level in terms of fruit. Generally, fruit in the United States is picked early, green, and then allowed to sit because it gets long shelf life. But it's not particularly that good for you, or as good as it would have been if it's allowed to mature in the tree and be fully mature. So anyway,
Radiation, Mark.
irradiation. Oh, you heard about the FDA approving non-labeled radiation for vegetables. Certain target markets around the United States now have irradiated vegetables. You don't even know it. Now, that won't be coming from a farmer in a farmer's market, no. And you won't see that in Whole Foods, which won't have any part of it. But the FDA has approved certain areas around the United States for irradiated vegetables, and you don't even know it. And the vegetables are highly disturbed by irradiation because it kills bacteria, it breaks up things, it starts to disturb cell bodies, and does all kinds of weird stuff. The industry is saying, oh, it's wonderful, it extends shelf life. When you hear extended shelf life, you hear non-digestibility and dead. You want highly digestible and live. These are not friends to your body. So anyway, it's a whole paradigm conflict where industry wants to sell you something that sits on the shelf for forever and goes through your gut and doesn't do anything for you. Cardboard's better, I think. And then your body's saying, please give me something alive and digestible, and it breaks down quickly. They're completely in conflict.